Hey everyone, this is Mike. So let's start on this journey together of every day trying to deal with the challenges of life because there is going to be some challenges. Let's see if I can fix this a little bit. There's going to be problems, chaos, really things that are going on in the world and in our lives, and we can not always stop that. Often we can't. We can try to ameliorate it. But if we can put ourselves in the best state possible, and we're in the best mindset to deal with these things. So today I want to talk about a couple of things. So on Mondays, I'd like to talk about the need, and this is from Choice Theory with William Glasser, about certain needs that we have as human beings, similar to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, except this isn't a hierarchy. So today I want to talk about the need for survival, security, stability, safety. I'm going to talk about being aware of the distortions of shoulds, the tyranny of the shoulds, demands that things be different than they are, trying to implement our value, the value of justice and fairness and equity, trying to tap into a state of confidence, and looking for a sense of gratitude in our lives. So let's do that today for this Monday. So the first thing is the need for security, stability, safety. What can we do today to take care of that need? Security, safety, stability, that could mean anything from health, physical health, good diet, making sure we're physically safe, that the homes that we're living in have security and protection. It could also mean making sure that we surround ourselves with stable, supportive people. It could be financial security. And again, I know that it's not easy. How do we protect ourselves from other people? I mean, you could have security and you can try to surround yourself in nice areas. How do we make more money if that's not an option? So today we're going to talk about that. So the first thing is just to brainstorm. We have the need for security, safety, stability, right? What can we do to make sure that need is being met? And again, I'm just going to use a relatively simple one of survival, security, safety is health, physical health and safety. Yours may be different, and that's okay, but we can eat better, we can exercise, we can take care of ourselves, make sure we're as healthy as we possibly can, make sure we get enough sleep. If you're driving a car, the seatbelt's on. These are examples of maintaining some kind of degree of security and stability. There's so much insecurity and instability in the world. All that's going on, the economy, the stock market, all these things, we cannot control that. And we have little influence on that. We can try to make ourselves as indispensable as possible. We can diversify if people have investments, but there's only so much we can do. So we do what we can to try to get that security and safety and stability need met. So today I'm going to challenge you to see if you can in some way get that need met. The second thing is that the negative self-talk we engage in. And one of the negative self-talks that we have is this demand that we, other people in the world, be different than it is. I should be better. People should be nicer. The world should be a better place. Well, in any given moment, we are, other people are, and the world is the way it is because all the conditions necessary for it to be that way have happened. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm not saying it's a healthy thing. I'm not saying it's the preferred thing. What I'm saying is that we are doing and other people are doing and the world is doing what it's doing because of all the conditions that led to that. As dysfunctional as they may be, and in retrospect, may not be so good. So we want to challenge that, and we want to replace those demands with preferences and wants. So there's no reason other people must treat us a certain way, although we wish they would. And we can acknowledge it. It's hurtful when they don't. But there's no reason people have to do what we want them to do, as beneficial as it might be. We want them to, we can acknowledge we want them to, but there's no reason they must. There's no reason the world must be the way we want it to be. Right? Would it be better if it was? Sure, possibly. But must it be that way? No. History is proof of that. And must we even do everything? No. We may want to. It might be better for us. We may make mistakes. In retrospect, we may have shown bad judgment. But we want to avoid demanding that things be different than they are. They are the way they are, and they are that way for a reason. So just getting into the habit of disputing those thoughts, right? Anytime I must, I need, I have to, I ought to, I should. We want to challenge that. No, none of those things are true. We wish, we want, we prefer, we desire, but there's no reason things must happen. Now, I'm primarily, by the way, talking about unconditional shoulds. There are conditional shoulds, right? If you want to be a doctor, you must go to medical school, right? If you want to avoid getting in trouble legally, you should not break the law, right? Those are conditional shoulds. If then, but very often I'm talking about unconditional. Things should be the way I want them to be. I should be successful and happy all the time. People should treat me in the right way. The world should be fair and just. People, including ourselves and the world, are the way they are. So there are conditional shoulds. And of course, if you have your own moral or religious shoulds, you're entitled to that. But we just want to be careful, the tyranny of the shoulds, and just replace those. So when they're coming through our heads, we want to challenge those. The third thing are certain values and character strengths and traits and things that matter to us. So today I'm going to talk about the value and the character trait of justice. Most people have a sense of justice, of fairness, of justice, of equity. Sometimes that relates to leadership and in work or sense of teamwork. Again, there's this fairness, this sense of equity and justice. Most people have that quality or character as part of who they are to some extent. So I would challenge you to look for ways to exercise that strength. How can you be more fair today? How can you be more just? How can you be more equitable? And by the way, including to yourself. Can you be more just and fair to yourself? These are not always easy. How do you operationalize and concretize justice or fairness? So I'm going to challenge you to kind of brainstorm and do that as well. So far, you're going to look for ways to take care of yourself in terms of security, stability, safety, survival, the physical needs, food, shelter, clothing, health, well-being. You're going to challenge any demands, shoulds, musts, ought tos, and you're going to see if you can operationalize and use your character strength of justice and fairness. The next one is going to be tapping into a resourceful state that you've been in before that you could use perhaps now. And let's use the one of confidence. Right? There have been times when we felt really confident. Even if it's not many, and even if it's for a short period of time, I want you to just remember when you were confident. What did that feel like? Were you standing tall? Were you feeling good? Were your thoughts clearer? Were your speech clearer? Were your movements more direct? Just imagine the most recent time. It doesn't have to be the most recent. It could be any time when you really felt confident. And really kind of channel that memory. And see if you can recreate that feeling of confidence. And if you could bring that confident state now to whatever situation you're facing, how would it be different? But I want you to really, the confident state may be buried, and I want you to bring it more to the surface. So think about times in your life when you've been confident, and really try to immerse yourself in that, really channel it, really bring it alive. And what you're doing is you're making connections with that confident state so you can bring it back to you whenever you need it. And the more you re-stimulate those memory centers of confidence, the more it's brought to the surface, and the more your brain will remember it. And if you can really say, look, when I need this confident state, right, I've re-stimulated that memory part. Now I'm going to really tap into that confidence. And if I could be that confident me, if I could be that best version of me, that confident me right now, how might I respond to this differently? It's kind of more of a positive reframe. So just see if you can reflect on that. We tend to reflect on the negative all the time. Let's reflect on the positive and the resourceful part of who we are. And finally, gratitude. Let's take a few minutes today and be grateful for the things that we have. And again, it may be few and far between. Maybe it's relatively small. Maybe not. Maybe it's a big thing. But let's take a few minutes to reflect on some of the things we're grateful for. Our family, our friends, our health, the weather, the opportunities we have. Even if it's just something small, a few moments to just kind of catch our breath, maybe to read a little bit, catch up, decompress. That could be something being grateful for as well. Okay, so today we have our mission, right? Meet our survival, get our survival, security, safety, stability needs met, challenge those demands, those shoulds that we, other people in the world must be different. Try to use the character strength of justice and fairness and equity. tap into that confident state, and experience some gratitude. And I know that's going to manifest for each of us differently, but let's see if we can really bring these positive things to counter the negative stuff that we're facing in life. I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We'll do even more things and more character strengths and more goals and more resourceful states. Speak to you then. Thanks.